Okay, today we are going to see how to weld a lift arm for the 46-inch deck. So this is a 46-inch lawnmower deck. The lift arm, which is the lifts the whole side of the deck, broke off because I hit a object like a tree stump, and just it sheared it off. And I'll show you how I'm going to weld it back. I have a Chicago electric welding device there. It's like $100 some. It's the cheapest welding device you can get. That welder is really good. It just works on electricity, regular 120 volt, and you can do the job. Okay, it's really good, good enough welder to do a good job. So let's take a look what is involved. So that is a 46-inch deck, came from the Husky Riding Mower. See the deck, I removed the deck, that is it. And you can see the lift arm. That's the part number 195186. And that's the part number for the lift arm. It broke off, you see. So I cleaned it out. You can see there's a slit already that is pre-made. So I'm going to weld it both sides. I'm going to weld it from here. I'm going to make sure it lines up properly with those slit, and then weld it both on both sides. I'm going to weld it here. I'm going to weld it there, and flip it over and weld it from the underside, so that the welding will go underneath inside it, and also seal it up. Will have good strength. Okay. So this is a flux welder. You see, flux welder. I'm going to put on max. Right, the thicker the steel, the more power it needs. The max is good. Max is good for most of it because it's not a powerful welder, just like a hobby welder. So max is always good. That's my setting. Speed is going to be 8, between 8 and 9 or so. The speed of the wire feeding into. And then the things you need is to smooth it out and to clean it. Make sure you clean this, right? And also I also clean the bottom, the underside of this, so it can be welded on both sides. And then I have this wire brush you can use with a 4.5-inch equipment like this, right? It's a grinder, 4.5-inch grinder, and that is a metal disc for grinding. So I use the metal disc to smooth things out. And there was a welding here before, so I smooth it out, and then I use this to smooth that out, so all the rust and paint is removed, so it'll have good adhesion. So this grinder is very handy, 4.5-inch grinder. Once you do that, you can remove it and put this one to clean up after the fact. You can clean up the flux kind of sediments and dirt after welding. And once you use that to prep it after the welding, you can paint it with a primer paint and things like that. Okay, so this is what we are doing. The flux I'm using is the highest it can allow is 0.035-inch flux core. So that's the wire I'm using, which is inside it. Okay, so pretty much that's the thickest flux I can get. So I'm going to use that. Max setting, feed speed about 8, and make sure you have a proper welding mask. You see this welding mask, how it looks. You see, this welding mask is auto darkening, which is really good. You can also set up how dark you want to get here. There's a little adjustment knob. That knob will make sure how dark it can get. You have to adjust it, and make sure you use the welding mask, because a sunglass does not provide your protection. It has radiation energy and light coming out of there, so that radiation energy can damage your eye. You can get like, it's called the welder's eye or welder's, eye damage, and it's not good. It will take a couple of days to heal. It can cause eye damage, things like that. So make sure you wear a proper protection for your eyes. So let's do it. So I'm going to weld it and let's see how it goes. I'm going to do some spot welding to hold it in place. I'm going to do like this couple of spot weld at 2 or 3 places so it will hold it in, so I don't have to use any clamp, and then go from there. Okay, already. All right, let's go for it. And you can see I removed the tip because this Harbor Freight welder, it doesn't have much power, and the tip is like a little bit too long. I want to be as close as possible without sticking it. And also ground, you have to make sure you have proper ground right there, and that's the ground. Okay, you have to clamp it properly. All right. All right, let's go for it. Look like my tip on my welder is not good enough. I'm going to remove that, replace the tip of that thing because it's getting stuck. So, and then I'll weld. So this is the welding tip. I'm using 0.35 inch welding tape, and you can see that is how it looks right there, because that is the size of the flux core wire that is inside it. So little hole, and it has the size on it, 0.035 inch. So that's the tip you replace when you have a problem with the flux not coming out. Okay. Just like that. See, now it's working. Yeah, it's coming along. It's not easy to weld with that cheap welder. It's a kind of hobby welder, so it has a lot of little imperfections, but somehow you have to do it as best as you can. That's why I'm going to do with weld on both sides, so it'll hold it. Yeah. All right, I increased the wire speed to like 9, 8, 9. So once you increase the wire speed to 8 or 9 on this welder, it will put more flux into it, so that you will be able to fill the gaps pretty fast, right? Because it's a thicker metal, that's what you want. You want the flux a little bit faster speed, so it'll fill up the gaps, right? You want the flux to get molten like liquidy and fill up the gaps. All right. And please wear some gloves. Don't try to imitate me. I don't weld as often as not as often, so that's why I'm a minimalist. I don't use much gloves, but since I don't weld that often, I'm not using any glove. But please make sure you use safety gear and gloves and such. Okay, and some shoes because it's going to drop on your feet. It did on my feet few times, but it's all right. Alright, I'm going to weld the bottom side of it. I'm going to show you. You see the bottom side, it has the wedge. You see that wedge, I'm going to fill it up with the welding flux so that it'll have a good grip from the bottom side as well. Alright, so I'm going to weld on both sides because a little hobby welder is not as strong welder as a professional welding. So I'm going to do that, and that should help. When you're welding, make sure it's nice and clean. I use a wire brush. It's a metal brush. Alright, so it's welded on both sides now, so hopefully it should hold it. That's it. So it's welded on that side and the bottom side, and I need to weld it a little bit more because the weld I can see on the top side is not quite done right. Yeah, so I need to weld it more, fill up the little gaps and such. So this is the wire brush you could use to clean it up and remove all the sediments and then prime and paint. That's what you can use. See, there's the wire brush. It works very well. Right there, you see? Right there. Make sure you tighten it up very well. You know, if you don't make it tight on it, it could fly off. So yeah, but it works very well. It'll clean it out. Okay, that's all for today. Make sure you wear safety glasses and gloves and anything you need to wear to be safe. Okay. All right. Until next time. To the next project. Goodbye from here.